Hello folks and welcome back to my channel. Last month I did a video about studio etiquette, and that one was in particular about not touching your piercings and keeping your hands clean in the studio. The feedback I got from that video was overwhelmingly really positive, and a lot of folks wanted to see some more stuff about studio etiquette from me. So today I want to sit down and talk about one of the studio etiquette topics I feel the most passionately about, and that's filming and photographing in the studio. Now, in general, when it comes to filming and taking pictures, most studios probably don't care about what you're doing in the lobby, but what I want to talk about is in the piercing room. And something you may notice if you've got a lot of piercings is that many studios, in fact, I would feel comfortable enough saying most studios, have a no filming or no recording sign in the piercing room. Or they have a signage that says, please ask permission for filming and recording. And once again, just like the not touching your piercings thing, this is a huge health and safety factor. I cannot tell you how many bad experiences I have had with filming and recording. And when I was a much younger piercer, I didn't really get it. I was pretty comfortable with people taking videos. I was like, why wouldn't you let someone take a video? Like, they want to have a memory of their piercing experience. It's going to be so fun. And I started realizing very quickly that when folks are permitted to video, the person taking the video typically prioritizes the video and getting a really good video over the experience of the person being pierced. And what I mean by that is I cannot tell you how many times I have given permission to record and I've been working on a client and doing something and someone has come up and literally put a phone in front of my face so that I cannot see what I'm doing or working. Or they've come over and they've moved my tray to get closer to film what I'm doing. Or I've even had people bump into me, hit me, and knock into me while I'm working, trying to film and get the perfect shot. Even for a little while there, when I decided, okay, now I totally get it, people are they're thinking about getting a good video, they're not thinking about the fact that their video is getting in the way of me doing this piercing. I'll tell people that they can film, but they have to stay seated over on this bench or this chair in my piercing room. I thought I was safe. I thought I was good. I went about my day, and then before I know it, I turn around and the person is standing and they're right on top of me and they're blocking me from doing what I need to do, or they're bumping into me, or they're moving my tray and my supplies. And this creates a safety and a cross-contamination issue. Obvious safety issue, if someone bumps into me while I'm piercing, or if they put their phone in front of my face, something could go wrong. I could do a crooked piercing, we could get a needle stick, like something could go very seriously wrong if that happens. Even on just a lesser scale, if someone accidentally gets too close, they could cross-contaminate my tray or my setup, they could cross-contaminate what's prepped and clean on the client, so it becomes a really high risk of something going wrong with the piercing. And the problem is, while I know there's a bunch of people who could film and be behaved and stay seated in the part of the room where they're supposed to be, unfortunately, a few bad eggs ruin it for the rest of us. And because so often people are not respectful and not cautious about these things, it is safer for the most part to simply not allow filming in the piercing room, because there is such a real risk of cross-contamination, and there are so many clients who just don't listen to the instructions that we try to give to make filming safe. Now, the other side of this is sometimes there's no extra in the room who wants to film. Sometimes it's the client themselves, and they're like, oh, like, can I film my reaction to getting this done? Or can I film myself while we're working? And here's the thing with that. If you've ever been on your phone, awake at night in bed, don't lie to me, we've all been there. You're sitting there, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden, you drop your phone and it hits you in the face. I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it. It happens. And especially with something like a body piercing, you may be startled by the sensation of the piercing. You may flinch and not realize it. Something may happen, and you holding that phone, you could hit yourself, you could hit me, you could hit my hands, and we could have a very unsafe situation on our hands very quickly. So not only is it not safe typically to have an extra in the room recording, it is super not safe to have the client themselves recording. So because of these factors, recording is usually not permitted in most piercing rooms. Now, another thing that I've noticed with recording is a lot of clients end up a little bit more stressed or a little bit more worried about their video than they are about the experience of getting pierced. And I've seen this with clients having friends record or with clients trying to prop up the phone and record. I've seen clients who are literally more worried about, oh my god, like, do I look good in this video? Is this a good angle for me? Do I look stupid? Am I gonna make a stupid sound? And getting so in their head about how the video is going to turn out that they're stressing themselves out and they're not focusing on the actual process of getting pierced and the experience of getting a piercing. And not only that, but a lot of folks don't want to be recorded getting pierced or end up having a video of them that's an unflattering angle or making sounds that they don't like. And a lot of folks are just not comfortable enough to say to their friends, hey, like, actually I don't want to be recorded. Or stand up and kind of enforce that boundary and be like, I don't want any videos or pictures. So because of all of those factors, I have not allowed recording in my piercing room for many, many years, and many piercers I know also don't allow recording in their piercing room. And it really is for health and safety reason, because I promise you, just about every piercer who has allowed recording at some point in their career has had an incident like I have, where a client has violated a boundary and come way too close or not listened, and in their attempts to get the perfect video, they've made sure that it's a less than perfect piercing experience. And at the end of the day, my job, my goal is to give you a really perfect piercing experience. I really want you to have an amazing, easy time getting pierced. My goal is not to give you a cool video of your piercing. It's to give you a good piercing. And I'm able to best and most safely do that by not allowing recording in my piercing room. Now, I will admit there are some exceptions. I have worked with YouTubers and vloggers and TikTok creators and other companies and even sex workers and given special permission to record in my piercing room in those instances. And if that's something that you might be interested in doing or want to do, I strongly suggest contacting your studio beforehand to lay out the rules and set up an arrangement. For example, I have a full contract when it comes to filming in my piercing room, especially filming for commercial purposes, like if I'm doing a piercing for an influencer or for someone online or for a sex worker. So I have a full contract if we're going to be doing filming in the piercing room about what I do and don't allow, how I expect things to go, things like that. So I am a little bit flexible, and if someone really wants to film, especially for a commercial purpose, I will make exceptions for that, but I do have a contract that needs to be filled out, and I do have rules and guidelines that need to be abided by in that instance. And I know a lot of studios do something similar. Some studios, however, just may not allow filming at all whatsoever, and that is valid. And the other thing to consider with that is just because you want to film doesn't necessarily mean your piercer or your tattoo artist wants to be on film. And I have friends who get nervous when they're being filmed, and they are amazing, talented piercers and talented tattoo artists, but they get kind of nervous on camera. Some people just don't like the idea of being on film or being behind a camera, and the last thing you want is for your tattoo artist or piercer to be very nervous while they're working on you, or stressed, or thinking about the fact that they're being filmed and not the work that they're doing. That is how we end up with a less than desirable piercing or tattoo. Now, the other element comes down to personal safety, and this is really something that I wish people thought about more. There are numerous situations someone could be in where being filmed and being posted online could jeopardize their personal safety. If they have a stalker, if they're in the middle of leaving an unsafe relationship, or they're getting a potentially dangerous divorce, or anything of that nature. They could be involved in an unsafe legal situation and they're trying to protect themselves. They could be involved in issues with child custody or legal issues. There are so many different reasons why taking a video of someone and posting them publicly online could put that person in jeopardy and in danger. And a lot of folks, when asked to be filmed, are not going to, lay out their whole life story and tell you, hey, it's unsafe for me to be posted on the internet right now. A lot of times they'll just say, hey, I don't allow filming in my piercing room. Or, hey, actually, it's studio policy, we don't film. Or maybe they'll just brush it off and be like, actually, I get really nervous on film, I don't want to be filmed. But the underlying issue is that filming this person could put them at jeopardy. And I've been in a situation like this myself. And it is very scary to realize that someone has filmed you anyway, and then be forced to either let them leave with that video and hope they don't post it on social media and hope a stalker doesn't see it, or have to explain your situation to a complete stranger and be like, hey, so I noticed you filmed anyway. I actually have a stalker, and if you post this online and they somehow find it, my life could be in jeopardy. I really need you to not post that. It's very scary, and you never know what the reason is someone might give you for not filming. They might tell you, hey, we don't allow filming in the studio, and it might just be as simple as that. They have a no filming policy. That might be a comfortable way they cover for the fact of, hey, if you film me, you could be putting me in danger. So just a really important etiquette lesson, I think in general, is not to film people without their consent, and to make sure if you're going to be filming and recording, you have permission to do so in that space. But especially when it comes to tattoos and piercing, because it does become a health and safety issue so quickly and so easily. So next time you're going in to get a tattoo and a piercing, please look around your studio, see if they have signage about permissions for filming, recording, and photographing. And also don't hesitate to ask your individual staff member or piercer that you're working with, hey, are you okay if I film? And if someone is okay, please remember that your video is not the priority. The piercing or the tattoo is the priority. So make sure you're staying out of the artist's way, ask them where it's safe for you to stand, and whatever you do, do not get up close and into what is going on without express permission. Do not move things around in the room to try and get a better shot. It is not worth potentially causing an unsafe piercing or an unsafe practice to happen. I hope that makes sense, and I do genuinely feel bad when folks want to film and I have to say no, and I know that it can be a bit of a bummer, but I hope that by explaining that it is really a health and safety practice, and again, I personally have had it go wrong so many times when I've tried to allow it in the past as a younger piercer. It is fully not worth the risk for me anymore, and please just be mindful and be respectful of that. That understanding the health and safety perspective behind not filming in studios makes it make a little bit more sense. As per usual, your support means the world to me. If you like the videos that I put out, please hit like and subscribe, and I can't wait to sit down and chat with y'all more. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!